Okay, I wanted to start this short video to help you get started with using Loveable to create your own app. So remember, you don't have to know how to code. I'm curious to see how this works out for everybody. You put in a prompt and it will go through this process of creating an app and actually hosting it up on their website. Okay, so go to loveable.dev. You'll have this entry screen. You'll have to create a free account. The free accounts are rate limited, but you should be able to get something done with the free account. I've only used the free account. Okay, so I wanted to get you started. Next, you'll start a project, and let me show you mine. Okay, so I showed this in class, this Golf Stats Navigator. Okay, so when you come to Loveable, you'll give a prompt. All right, so in my prompt, I used something simple. I said I want a web-based app that will let me record my golf scores and track stats. It needs to be quick entry for scoring each hole. And then I gave it some stats that I wanted to keep that are related to golf. Okay, so this is not what I saw initially. All right, it ran through this whole workflow and gave me a preview of the app. So eventually what you'll see is a place where it's generating code. And you don't have to learn how to write the code, but it shows you as it goes how to get that created. Okay, so you put in this prompt and it'll give you back a description of what it's expecting to do. I didn't change this. I suppose you could iterate. There's a chat mode that you can invoke, but that's beyond the scope of what I want you to do. Just go ahead and give it your prompt and let it start running. Okay, so what will happen is potentially you might get an error. All right, so in my case, I did get an error. And so how I handled that was I just clicked on this and it shows me the error message. All right, so from there, I copied that error message and just pasted it into the next prompt. So what I did was I said for the code present, so what I mean is the code base that they've already developed, I get the error below. Please think step by step in order to resolve it. Okay, so I did the step-by-step thing because my understanding of some of these large language models is that can get you to a different model where it has to lay out exactly what it's going to do instead of just jumping into solving the problem. Okay, so the response I got back was, I'll resolve these errors step by step, and it goes through and actually ends up fixing the code, all right, to where it ran, all right. I gave it one more prompt because as I started to play around with this, it was a real pain to enter scores for 18 holes, just making this up. So I wanted something I could try quickly. And so I asked it to modify this where you can enter 9-hole scores as well. And it went through and did that. Okay. So at the end, it gives you a preview. Let's see, that's the code view. This is the preview view. This is a preview view of the app. All right, but you should know that to make this finally be a working app, you have to go up here and hit this publish button. All right, so the publish button will update this to a URL. All right, so it comes up with this. Apparently now you can have a custom domain, but we're not going to go that far. Update this and it should save this to a URL. Okay, so what you should get is a rough version of a working app. Notice there's this Supabase thing. It turns out this app doesn't practically work because I can go to the Golf Stats Navigator. All right, so I'm looking here. I can enter scores and it will persist between sessions that I invoke from this computer. All right, so it's likely storing this data in some of my browsing history information. Okay, so as soon as I go to a different browser, or if I cleared the data stored in the browser, I would lose all this data. All right, so that's the point of the Supabase thing. It gives you a back-end database where you can make the application data stick, all right, and remember. All right, so Supabase, I don't have you doing this because you'd have to set up an account, and I think they have free accounts, but that's beyond the scope of what we wanted to accomplish with this exercise. All right, so get that, publish that. You should end up with a web URL, let me know how that goes. Hopefully you can share your URL and we can see how everybody's apps would work. All right, good luck with that.